when your life is falling apart and the internet seems to be telling you exactly what to do, sell the house, never leave the house, take him for everything, leave him, keep everything peaceful at all costs, file immediately. The laundry list of internet helpfuls. Everyone happens to have an opinion about your life. This episode is for the woman who is drowning in advice. So maybe you're separated. Or maybe you are contemplating divorce and you haven't really told a lot of people. Or maybe the paperwork is even signed, but every financial decision kind of feels really loaded. Maybe the transition has nothing to do with marriage. Maybe you lost a job. You're moving, you're grieving. Whatever brought you here, you're emotionally vulnerable and the stakes feel high, and everyone, literally everyone, has an opinion. Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Financial Mastery Simplified. I am your host, Jax Crider, and today we're going to talk a little bit about how everyone happens to have an opinion about your life. And so we're going to talk just a little bit about when your life is falling apart and the internet seems to be telling you exactly what to do, sell the house, never leave the house, take him for everything, leave him, keep everything peaceful at all costs, file immediately, wait till your children are older, refinance, don't sign anything. The laundry list of internet helpfuls. And somehow after reading 200 comments from women who have never met you, don't know what your financial situation is, have never read or looked at any of your documents, are never going to live with the consequences of your choices, you feel even less clear than when you started. But you also feel strangely unable to stop asking. If that's you, I'm not here to shame you. I understand why you're doing it, actually. And when the person whose judgment you relied on is no longer safe and available or aligned, your brain goes looking for another source of certainty. And the problem is that sometimes we do not take our power back. We simply transfer it from one person to a room full of strangers. And so, welcome back. I'm Jax Crider. Around here, we talk about money and as it actually exists in real life, attached to homes and relationships, children's identity, fear, etc., and for the future that you're actually trying to build. So this episode is for the woman who is drowning in advice. So maybe you're separated, or maybe you are contemplating divorce and you haven't really told a lot of people. Or maybe the paperwork is even signed, but every financial decision kind of feels really loaded. Maybe the transition has nothing to do with marriage. Maybe you lost a job. You're moving, you're grieving. You're becoming the sole decision maker after years of making decisions as a unit. Whatever brought you here, you're emotionally vulnerable and the stakes feel high, and everyone, literally everyone, has an opinion. And before we start this, I'm going to just say that my mom has a saying, and the saying goes that opinions are like assholes, everyone has one, and that part is true. So I want to talk for a minute about why outside opinions feel so compelling in a crisis and how to receive support without actually surrendering your authority. How you choose the few voices that actually deserve real influence in your decision. So first we're going to start with the Midnight Moms Group question. So picture this. It's like 12:47 in the morning. It's after midnight. The house is finally quiet. Your children are asleep. You have an email open that you don't know how to answer yet, and your chest feels really, really tight. You don't want to call your attorney because it's way too late, and you don't want to call your mother because she's going to panic. You don't want to tell your closest friend because saying it out loud will make the situation actually real. So you open Facebook, and you find a mom's group or divorce group, a neighborhood group, a group for women starting over, some kind of group, and you type your question. Maybe, just maybe, you post it anonymously because you don't want anybody to know it's you. And you say, my husband says I cannot afford to keep the house. Has anyone ever been able to refinance after divorce? And within minutes, the answers begin to pour in. One woman tells you to keep the house, and it was the best decision she ever made, right? So that means you should keep it too. Another says keeping the house ruined her financially. Somebody else tells you that a lender approved them, no income needed. Somebody else says you can't qualify until you've got at least 2 years of support history from the pending divorce. Another person says, your husband is definitely hiding money. How did you stay with him so long? Another says, you should stop being so greedy and you should think about your children. How dare you? Someone recommends their cousin or something who does mortgage. Some of these women are genuinely trying to help. In fact, I answer these questions all the time with the honest answer of trying to help these women. But some of them are projecting their own pain. And some of them are repeating advice that they either misunderstood or the advice was wrong. Some of them are speaking accurately about their situation, but their situation and yours are not the same thing. A few just may be confidently wrong. Yet because you are exhausted and scared, every answer lands with more authority than it deserves. And this is not because you're gullible or there's something wrong with you. It's because uncertainty is painful, and certainty, even borrowed certainty, can feel like safety. So why do smart women do this? I want to be very careful here because it would be very easy to make fun of this behavior, and a lot of people do. I am not trying to do that, okay? Because there is real validity. In fact, I ask women in moms groups all the time, okay? Women reach out into these groups because they are looking for a few things. First, recognition. You need to know that you're not the only woman who did not understand the finances. You're not the only person who didn't see the ending coming, who stayed way longer than she thought she would, or feels ashamed that she can't make a simple freaking decision. Second, relief. You want someone to say, I survived it, I survived this, you absolutely can too. Camaraderie, right? We want to know that we're not the only one and that somebody actually got through it on the other side, so we can do it. And the third is permission. You want someone to tell you that what you want is reasonable. And please understand that those needs, they're super human. Like those are the most basic human needs. Community can meet them beautifully. So on its face, please understand me, these moms groups are not bad. The danger becomes when the emotional resonance gets mistaken for professional and expert relevance. So her story sounds like mine, so her strategy must fit me. She sounds pretty confident, so she's got to be correct, right? 20 people agreed, so that's got to be the answer. But just so we're clear, popularity, that's not underwriting. Empathy is not legal analysis or real legal advice. Confidence is not competence, as much as we'd like it to be. And someone else's survival strategy is not automatically your financial plan. So let's give an example of this. The house that everybody told this woman to fight for. So let me tell you about a woman. We're just going to call her Rachel because I don't use my clients' real names. Rachel is a composite of patterns that I have seen and not one specific identifiable client. Okay, so it's more of like a pattern group. Rachel was in the early stages of her divorce. She had 2 children and a house and a neighborhood that she absolutely loved. And the children's had a lot of friends nearby. Their school was really familiar. Their rooms still look like childhood, right? Those great childhood rooms. Rachel's husband told her she could not keep the house. And her friends responded by telling her she absolutely had to keep the house. Don't let him take that too. The kids, they need stability. Fight for the house. The word fight lit something up in her. For months, she had felt powerless. Keeping the house began to represent winning for her. But no one in that group knew the payment. They didn't know the repair needs. They didn't know the income available to support the home after the settlement was done. They didn't know what other assets Rachel may trade away to keep that equity in the house, or if she was going to have to give some equity to her soon-to-be ex-husband. They didn't know whether proposed support could be counted for financing, what documentation would be required, or whether the timeline actually worked. They knew the emotional symbol. They did not know the financial structure. And so when Rachel finally sat down with people who could help her evaluate the whole picture, she realized the question was not, can I win the house? The question was, does keeping this house protect the life I'm trying to build? Those are super different questions. Keeping it might still have been right, and selling it might have been right. The point is not that. The point is that the answer should emerge from her values, verified reality, and not from a cheerleading section that would disappear before the first major repair bill. So, unless those people are willing to help you pay the bill, I would take what they have to say with a grain of salt. Sometimes what that looks like empowerment is just pressure, wearing a feminist t-shirt, guys. Because real empowerment, it gives you room and right to choose on your own terms. And let's talk for a minute about advice. Advice that sounds really, really loving. That advice does not always sound harsh. It can, but not always. Sometimes it sounds really deeply loving. Do whatever keeps the peace. Don't put the kids through that fight. You can always make more money. Just get out. Nothing else matters. There are circumstances where safety must be the first priority. And if you are in danger, this podcast is not a substitute for appropriate legal, domestic violence, emergency, or mental health support. So please get that help if you need it. But outside of an immediate safety issue, speed and peace are not always the same thing. You can sign away something important because you are desperate for the conflict to end. You can accept a housing arrangement that doesn't work because you're afraid that asking questions makes you really difficult. You can give up information, not just assets. And then 6 months later, when the adrenaline wears off, when the dust has settled, you may discover that the peace you purchased was temporary, but the financial consequence was not so temporary. This is why I tell women, do not let anyone rush you past understanding. Not your spouse, not your friends, not a salesperson, not even the expert. If someone cannot explain the recommendation in plain language, show you what the trade-offs are, and make room for your questions, they have not earned the authority you are giving them. Period.
Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message from our sponsors.
Imagine having the power to control your financial destiny, no matter where you start. Welcome to the Financial Mastery Simplified course and resource platform, where financial education is tailored to your unique journey. We cover everything you need, from basic budgeting and saving strategies to advanced investing and retirement planning. Learn at your own pace with lessons that match your level of experience. Whether you're a beginner or looking to enhance your financial knowledge, join our community of learners and benefit from shared insights and expert guidance. The Financial Mastery Simplified course and resource platform equips you with the skills and confidence to take charge of your financial future. Ready to master your finances? Enroll in our courses today at the Financial Mastery Simplified course and resource platform. Start your path to financial independence now.
Visit us at fms.tips and fms.college for more information.
Hello and welcome to PBJ Mortgage, where your home ownership dreams become reality. Today, we want to share why choosing PBJ Mortgage is the right choice for your home financing needs. At PBJ Mortgage, we're built on a foundation of values that drive us every day. Our commitment to educate, empathize, and empower our clients sets us apart in the mortgage industry. Our clients are at the heart of everything we do, and their success stories speak volumes. With years of experience, our team possesses in-depth knowledge of the mortgage programs, ensuring you receive expert guidance and the best possible rates. We offer a diverse range of loan options to suit your unique needs, including conventional, FHA, VA, and more. No matter your situation, we've got a solution. At PBJ Mortgage, we pride ourselves on providing personalized service. Our dedicated loan officers are here to guide you every step of the way, making the process as smooth as making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We understand that time is of the essence, which is why we've streamlined our processes for efficiency and convenience. Transparency and clear communication are paramount. You'll always know where you stand throughout your mortgage journey. Reach out to us today to set up a call to discover your options. If you're ready to make your home ownership dreams a reality, contact PBJ Mortgage today. Let us empower you during this exciting journey. Phone number 4-693-733-107 www.pbjteam.com. Visit our website or give us a call to get started. We look forward to helping you secure your future home. PBJ Mortgage, where home begins.
Thanks for your patience.
Advice, information, and strategy, they are all really, really different. We use these words as if they mean the same thing, and they very much do not. Advice is an opinion about what you should do. Information is a fact, rule, option, or piece of context that can actually be verified. Strategy is a plan built by connecting accurate information to your specific goals, constraints, timing, and values. So groups are often useful for questions like, what did you wish you'd asked when you're going through your divorce? What helped your children feel supported? What made you feel less alone? What professionals or experts did you realize you needed? These questions gather experience. Groups are much less reliable for questions like, will I qualify to be able to do this? What do you guys think I should sign? What legal rights do I have in this scenario? What will the tax consequence actually be? Should I trade retirement assets for home equity? Those questions require documents, details, expertise, often coordination among multiple experts. The right lesson from a stranger's story is often not, I should do what she did. It's, that gives me a question to bring to that right expert. So, build a decision circle and not an audience. When you are vulnerable, telling more people can feel like getting more support. Sometimes, well, most of the time in my opinion, it gives you a lot more noise. So I want you to build a decision circle. Not an audience, but a circle. Your circle may include 4 rules. The first is an emotional anchor. This is the person who can hear your fear without becoming more afraid than you are. This person does not turn away at every conversation into her story. She does not need you to choose what she chose. She can remind you of who you are while letting you arrive at your very own answer. The second is a domain expert. This changes based on the question. So, legal questions, go to your attorney. Mortgage questions, go to someone who understands mortgage strategy, not merely somebody who can just quote you an interest rate. Tax questions, go to a qualified tax expert. Long-term settlement analysis needs maybe a financial advisor, a financial expert, right? The third person you need is pattern interrupter. This could be a therapist, a coach, a faith leader, or grounded friend who notices when fear, guilt, proving, or old conditioning is driving the decision that you're actually making. And the last one is you. Do not leave yourself out of your own decision circle. And honestly, a lot of people do this way more than you think. You're the only person who knows what it feels like to live your life. I don't know. No other expert knows. Not even your best friend or your mother knows. You and you alone. Because experts, we can tell you what is possible, and we can explain the likely consequences of some of these situations. We can identify risks that you may or may not see, but we absolutely cannot decide what trade-off you are willing to live with or not. That is literally why PBJ Mortgage is educate, empathize, empower. Because I don't want to make that choice, baby. It's yours to make. Now, there is a 5-question filter that you can kind of run things through. So before you accept financial advice from anybody, I want you to ask these 5 questions. 1, what does this person actually know about my situation? Have they ever seen any documents? Do they know any numbers? Do they understand my timeline, my state, the loan type, any legal situations or family considerations? Do they know these things? 2, what qualifies this person to answer this particular question? Someone can be absolutely brilliant and still be very outside their lane. Perfect example is me. I know a lot about real estate. I actually even did all of the prereq stuff to become a real estate agent as well as some of my other things. But guess what? I don't practice real estate day in and day out. So can I answer general questions about real estate? Sure, absolutely. But if the question is very weird and very nuanced, I am likely going to point you in the direction of a real estate expert because that is the person who should be answering your question. 3, what might this person be projecting? The friend who is financially devastated by keeping their house, they may see every house as a trap. Just saying. The friend who regrets selling may treat like every house sale is a complete and utter mistake. And their feelings are super real, right? We want to acknowledge them. We're not trying to gaslight them into believing that their feelings aren't valid, but their conclusion, that may not be universal. 4, what does this person gain if I follow the advice? This does not mean that every person who gets paid is untrustworthy, okay? Experts should be paid for their expertise. I mean, honestly, no offense, I'm not working for free, but it should mean that you should understand the incentives. Is someone helping you evaluate a choice? Or are they emotionally or financially invested in the actual outcome of the choice? And when I say financially, that one's a lot easier to see. But what about emotionally? Because sometimes those close people in your life, like your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, these people, they're a lot more emotionally invested than you realize. So just be careful. 5, does this advice increase my understanding or increase my dependence? The best people in your corner should leave you clearer and more capable than they found you. If every conversation makes you feel like you can't move without them, pay attention to that. Now, the truth about my own authority style. If you can tell, I have very strong opinions. And if you know me, that's not going to shock you. I've been in mortgage world for over 20 years. I have a law degree. I have seen what happens when women wait too long to understand their options. I have seen poorly structured decisions create lots of pain that very easily could have been avoided. So yes, I will tell you when I see risk, and I will ask uncomfortable questions, and I will challenge assumptions. Because as a mortgage expert, I do not believe my job is to replace your spouse as a new person who tells you what you are allowed to do or not allowed to do. My job is not to become another authority for you to obey. My job is to help you understand enough where you can make that choice. What did I say before? Educate, empathize, empower. And why do they exist? Because we should educate you on your options. We should empathize with the situation that you're currently in. We should empower you to make the choice. Because, baby, I don't have to stroke that check every month. You do. And that is the difference between power and control. Because control says, do this because I know better. Power says, here's what I see. Here are the options. Here are the potential consequences. Now let us connect that information to the life you want. Whatever that is. Whatever the decision is. I don't think people are too stupid to understand money, specifically their money. I think people are too overwhelmed, underinformed, ashamed, carrying emotional weight that makes logical information really hard to process. And these are super solvable problems. So, what should you do before you ask the group? The next time you feel that urge to post a high stakes financial question to a group, pause and do this first. Write down the question you're thinking of asking, or keep it in your head. Write down the feeling underneath it. Can I keep the house? Maybe carrying, will my children still feel safe? Should I sign this? Maybe carrying, how much longer can I tolerate this conflict? Is this fair? Maybe carrying, does what happened to me matter? What do you do? Maybe carrying, please tell me I'm not alone. Once you know the need, you can take it to the right place. Loneliness belongs with a safe community. Trauma belongs with trauma-informed support. Legal interpretation belongs with appropriate legal counsel. Mortgage scenarios belong with a mortgage expert who has the full and complete picture. The final value judgment belongs to you. Now, if advice overload has you frozen, I want you to try a 48-hour noise reset. For 2 days, do not ask anyone new what you should do. You can gather facts, you can attend scheduled meetings, You can write down questions, but stop polling information. During the 48 hours, answer these 3 prompts. What outcome am I secretly hoping someone will give me permission to choose? What fact, if verified, would make this decision a lot clearer? Whose voice do I trust? Because I understand both the technical question and the human being living through it. Notice what happens when the room gets quieter. At first, you may feel a little more anxious. That doesn't mean the reset is not working. It may mean that you have been using opinions to regulate your uncertainty. But stay with yourself. You don't have to force the answer. You're practicing being present long enough to hear your own question. If the decision in front of you involves the house, the mortgage, qualifying during or after divorce, buying your next home, or understanding what might be financially possible, you do not need 50 opinions. You need a clear look at your actual situation. And that's the work I do. You can book a call with myself and my team using the link in the show notes. It's not about pushing you into a mortgage. Sometimes the most aligned answer is to wait. Sometimes it's to gather one missing document. Sometimes an option exists that you didn't even know to ask about. Sometimes the numbers confirm that the choice you hoped for would cost you more than what you're actually willing to give. And sometimes it works out exactly like you'd hoped. You never know. But clarity is valuable, even when the answer is not necessarily the one that you expected it to be. If you book a call, please bring your questions. Bring the thing that you are embarrassed not to know. Bring the scenario that 3 friends answered in 3 completely different ways. We're going to slow it down. We're going to separate facts from fear. We're going to talk in simple, plain English. And we will help you see the options without taking that decision away from you. It's just not what we do. Because support should not require you to surrender your authority. You don't need another person to run your life or to tell you what number works for you. You need people who help you return to it. Until the next episode, I want you to remember, it is your life and your terms. Not because you must do everything alone, but because the support you choose should make your voice stronger. It should absolutely not replace it. I hope you found this episode helpful. We're going to see you again next week on another episode of Financial Mastery Simplified.